everybody, Steve Shields here with Battle Report number 3. Today we're playing 4,000 points. I've got a bound list of Chaos Demons and Chaos Marines versus an unbound list of Tau that my opponent will go over after I show you mine. So to start off with, I've got this nifty Warlord card here from Callous Typhon over at Facebook. His link will be in my description for the video. He's got pretty much every army done up and they're pretty cool looking, and it's easy to keep track of what your Warlord trait is that way. So obviously my Warlord is Fate Weaver. He's got Sunburst and Precog on one head, Iron Arm and Invis on the other. So for once I'll actually have to choose wisely between the heads. Usually one is just utter rubbish. So then Mr. Bloodthirster here, he rolled up Armorbane, Fleshbane, and Feel No Pain 4 up. So hopefully he's going to wreck some things. So I've got two Demon Princes here, distinguished because one has a pommel on a sword, one doesn't. So Mr. has a pommel, got Armorbane, Fleshbane. Reroll Invols, and then his psychic powers are Shrouding, Invis, Dominate, and Psychic Shriek. So he went all out on the Invis table. Senor No Pommel over here, he's got Armorbane, Fleshbane, Reroll Invols. Yeah, I can't make this up. They pretty much all rolled that combination. His psychic powers are Cursed Earth, Summon, and Hallucinate. So I'm hoping that Hallucinate helps out. Standing in for Kugoth, because this model is way cooler, is my Forge Rolled Great Unclean One. He got the Plague Wind power for his nergly little power, and that's all he's got. Here is the last demon from the Demon's Codex, is a Nurgle Demon Prince. He wound up with Armorbane, Fleshbane, Reroll Invols, see what I'm saying? Infernal Gaze, Cursed Earth, Sacrifice, and Summon, so he went all out on the summoning table. Then, back here we've got Mace Prince with his, in my opinion, very cool Mace conversion. He's rocking +1 weapon skill for his boon result because he really needs strength 10 against Tau. Or, sorry, weapon skill 10. And then he's got weapon virus, iron arm, and invisibility. Axe Lord here got reroll armor save, so a significantly better boon table result. And starting with our smaller guys, we've got the Herald of Tzeentch. He got +1 wound, it will not die, because he thinks he's something tough. Warp Breath, Bolt of Change, Cursed Earth, and Summoning. Then as you can see, we've got 20 pink horrors here. He's going to hang around with one squad of 10. We've got 3 squads of 10 cultists there as objective grabbers and really just honestly meat shields. 2 units of plague bearers, 10 man. They both have ether blades there, so they're going to be rocking AP2 should they ever get in combat. And then I've got 2 heralds of Khorne. One has the Grimoire. The other one has the Hellfire Gaze, which is the strength 8 AP1 lance, and an axe of Khorne. They're riding around with 15 puppies, and then, finally, I've got 2 Helldrakes. So in just a second here, my opponent's going to go over his army, and he'll tell you what he has.
Alright, this is Scott Unger, playing Steve today. I've got 4,000 points of Tau with Imperial Guard. This is an unbound list. I'll go over what I have. So the Warlord is a Forge World Varna battlesuit. He's got the Tactical Warlord trait of getting +1 point per objective for holding it. He's got his 4 buddies. We've got 4 Riptides here. 3 of them have ion cannons. 1 of them has a burst cannon. There's the burst cannon guy right there. Alright, moving to the missile tides. We have 9 individual missile tides. Each of them has 2 missile drones. So that's a combined fire of over 100 missile shots per turn from these bad boys, and they'll be deploying individually. 4 Forge World Tetra Pathfinder units. Those are going to be useful for removing cover saves. Going over to the Imperial Allies, we have 3 Demolisher tanks. At strength 10 AP2 will be nice. And considering Steve's flying circus, I'm going to be very glad I brought these weapons platforms with the Icarus las cannons. So these are the heavy 2 interceptor interceptor Skyfire las cannon weapons. Those are going to be useful. 3 Nemesis Dread Knights. These are equipped with teleporter packs, and they should be very helpful. 2 Basilisks, and then an Aegis Defense Line. So it should be an interesting game. I have a lot of firepower. Steve's got a lot of wiliness and spells. It's going to be a challenge.
After deployment, we rolled off Maelstrom of War. We've got mission number 4, yet again, as we did in my first battle report. Scott won the roll to go first, so he picked his side over there. I'm going to go over my units, and then he's going to go over his. So we've got 3 demons here hiding behind the cover. So there's no windows in that building, so they will actually live through turn 1. Hopefully they live a little bit longer than turn 1. Cultists here, just a unit of 10 of them, objective grabbers. I've got my big unit of puppies here, 2 heralds attached. Kugoth is there, using his body to try to block the Corn Prince from certain death. We've got spread out units of Plague Bears and Pink Horrors here. And there's one unit of Pink Horrors partially in the tower, partially on top. We've got a Prince hiding there, a Herald. Some more Cultists here spread out, some more Plague Bears spread out. Again, hiding behind a windowless thing, so there's only going to be this little alley to shoot at him. Hopefully he'll live through that. Fate Weaver's hiding. He's pretty well completely obscured there, so hopefully no Slay the Warlord for him first turn. And this unit of Cultists. They're far away from everything, but they're out in the open, so kind of certain death. So Scott here is going to kind of point out what he's got there and what's going on.
Yeah, I got a bunch of shooty stuff in buildings here. They're going to throw templates and shoot missiles at your guys. One of the things on the deployment is there's 3 objective markers on my side. There's 2 in the middle and 1 on his side. So winning this side was a big deal. Hey, I'm going to just shoot at your guys. That's basically it.
Yep, so his strategy is sit there and shoot.
Yep.
Very in-depth.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm going to do.
So I'm going to go ahead and try to steal the bacon here. Wop, wop, wop.
Not today.
Well, here we are at the end of Scott's turn, and his massive amount of firepower did hurt things as predicted. That's what's left of my puppy squad. They're pretty hurt. Corn Prince here took 2 wounds. Ironically, he was trying to hurt Kugoth, and he's just resilient. He knocked a hole in these Plague Bears, killed the cultist over here for first blood, and he hurt the Plague Bears a little. He just dropped 1 guy. He got objective 2 here, so that gives him a total of 2 points this turn. And as you can see, some things moved forward, and that means I have to move forward on my turn into that line of death. Some of his weapons weren't in range, so he didn't get the full effect of the 108 missiles on me, but next turn he will. So hopefully I can take some out before he just decimates me. So whereas I have no shooting, Scott has no psychic. Those ones are my power dice, and those are his dispels. He only got that many because we rolled a 6 for the turn, so I'm hoping my psychic phase pays off. Here we are at the end of my turn 1. So as you can see, everybody's moved up quite a bit. The Bloodthirster over here has invisibility on him. The Blueprints has shrouding. We cast Weapon Virus on one of the broadside squads there, and Dominate on the Riptide. Over here in the middle, we got into a big fight. We killed off the Dread Knight there, securing that objective for a point. The Corn Prince should not have died during that, but I forgot the Curse Earth bonus, so he wound up dying, and he just unfortunately can't rewind time. The 2 troops here, they moved up to try to get that objective in case Dread Knight was more resilient than I had hoped. Over here, we've got a Demon Prince in combat. He also has invisibility on him, thanks to Fate Weaver. However, as a thank you, he completely whiffed. So he's locked in combat. Scott actually did manage to dispel 2 of my spells. He dispelled the Cursed Earth from the Prince flying over there, and the Cursed Earth from the Green Prince there. So that hurt a little bit, and we'll see what Scott can do on his turn. Now all my guys are in range, and they're going to feel the hurt. Here we're at the end of Scott's turn 2. That Dominate definitely helped out on the Riptide there. It caused him to not move. He got the fire, but it made him not jump away. Over here, as you can see, Mr. Kugoth bit the dust. He fired most of his army at him, so I'm glad he tanked up all that damage. But I was kind of hoping he'd live through it. Puppies took a couple wounds, and over here, the Demon Prince, who I remembered has Fleshbane, which would have really helped first round, managed to kill one of the Dread Knights. He charged another one in there, and they're fighting to the death. Scott managed to get 3 from his D3 objectives from his Hold 3 objective card, and he also got another objective for number 4, so that puts him at 7 and me at 2. Alright, here we are at the end of my 2. As you can see, Bloodthirster took out the Riptide there, and over here, which was the big surprise, is I managed to sneak my hounds into there and kill his HQ, giving me another point.
Because I didn't drop a drone down to block a charge lane.
Yeah, he could have simply blocked it, but he forgot to.
That one right there, see? See that drone? Yeah.
Seems to be the hallmark of this game, forgetting things. Because, over here, I forgot to fire Fate Weaver anything at the Basilisk. So, should have killed it, didn't. Everything else moved up, and for some reason that Demon Prince still didn't kill his Dread Knight over there. He completely whiffed. So, I'm running low on models. I might have to start summoning some, but I'm in his castle. Unfortunately, I didn't score any cards this turn because all the cards I drew this turn were for Scott's objectives. I managed to block one, but he's going to grab two of mine, putting himself even further into the lead. So, although I may be up on points and models, I'm probably going to lose on objectives. So, we'll see what happens at the end of Scott's turn. Here we are at the end of Scott's turn 3. He fired his entire castle here at my puppies. He did 10 wounds through a 2-up invul that had Grimoire and Cursed Earth affecting them. And it wasn't enough to take him out. He killed off 3 puppies and dropped both heralds to 2 wounds. Over here, he shot that building at Fate Weaver, and thankfully he was flying, so he managed to dodge them all. We've still got the never-ending combat here, where I did 1 wound to his Dread Knight over there, and then he whiffed against me. So I think that one's just going to go on forever. Over here, this guy's going to be pretty much unmolested next turn because I've just got little dudes here. But thankfully, I was able to contest this one with my puppy squad, well, what's left of them. And then by complete accident, the Bloodthirster, who is on the ground here, contested that one, keeping Scott down to 1 point. However, he still has an 8-3 lead, so I've got some catching up to do. So let's see what I can do on my turn. At the end of my turn 3, as you can see, the castle has fallen. I managed to get in there. The Herald Squad killed a broadside. The Mace Prince killed a broadside. The Bloodthirster killed a broadside. I was able to run my Plague Bearers just far enough under there to be able to grab that objective with objective secured, getting me an initial 2 points because we each had score objective 4. I've got this objective there, that combat finally ended, giving me another point. And I also have objective 5, clearing my 3rd final card. So that was 4 points for me this turn, closing up the gap, and Scott conceded because his castle has fallen. He doesn't have enough shots to kill all those big boys in there.
Nope.
So it was a hard-fought game, and he is currently ahead in points, but we can both tell from here it only goes to the demons. So we'll go ahead and bring some models out, set them up, and do a recap, starting with me. Alright, so here I am with my unit recap. First off, let's start with the stars of the game. Double Herald with their 16 puppies. Those guys with the Grimoire just rock chops. 2 wounds, it's hard to get through, and they managed to sneak right in there with their cavalry movement and get his HQ, and that really did turn the tide of the battle. Kugoth, great. He toughness 7, 7 wounds. He took so much firepower, it was silly. This Herald here gets an honorable mention because he summoned the Plague Bearers, which last turn were able to grab an objective and sway it so heavily in my favor. So those guys get their mention there. Fate Weaver, kind of disappointed actually. He is nowhere near as good as he was last edition because of your pool of dice. So you have to devote a lot of dice to him to be able to be effective. Mace Prince, as always, a rock star, and so is Bloodthirster. I just want to mention something with Bloodthirster here, is even with the changes to flying monstrous creatures, I just moved him as jump monstrous creature this whole time. He just kept going 12, and Mace Prince would throw invisibility on him. That way it was kind of like he was flying, but without that nerf of you can't charge after you drop from flight. The rest of the princes, you know, supporting actors, they did pretty well. Helldrakes. For shame. Normally you are so awesome, but one of them, well, the only one that came in, showed up and was immediately just hosed because he couldn't make any invuls. I got hit by 3 las cannons, failed all 3 invuls. Womp womp, Helldrake. So now we're going to go look over at Scott's guys, and we're going to do a recap for him. So I'm going to go ahead and do an overview for Scott here because he's a little bit shy. So keep in mind this is what I think Scott should have done. If any of you think otherwise, just let me know. I'm not the world's best Tau player. So for his missile sites here, he did a really good job of keeping them separate. It made them damn near impossible to kill. However, target priorities could have been a bit better. Granted, they did hose down Kugoth, but he is just a distraction, to be honest. They probably should have tried to take out my spellcasters. Over here, his Dread Knights. They were awesome, because they're Dread Knights. That one kept my whole flank tied up for the whole game. However, I think is what he should have done is just shunted them onto my backfield objectives after my Demon Prince had left for the front lines. That way it would force to split my attention, because you kind of got to deal with the Dreadnought hanging out in your back lines. His Riptides here, they did not do as well as they could have this game. They still did pretty well. Again, target prioritization could have made them better. They were the kind of tanks of his list. They took a lot of damage for me to take out. His HQ, although she failed her Novas twice, which definitely hurt, let's be honest, her guns are still so very strong. They hurt Kugoth. They put a huge chunk in my puppy line. Honestly, if he had dropped the drone down to block the charge from her, she probably could have turned this game for him with just all those shots. The Demolishers, they didn't do too much this game, but that Strength 10 is something you kind of want to have for instant killing. His anti-air there dropped the dragon as soon as it showed up, so pretty great choice, and for how cheap they are, you can't go wrong. Not sure on the basilisks here, but to be fair, he did not know what I was running, so probably still a good call, because these guys will kill medium to heavy, and that can drop infantry. So overall, I think Scott had a very solid list with a couple different targets. He could have done way better and just raffle stomped me that whole game. So, by the way, check out his little Warlord Titan over there. I really shouldn't call it little. That thing is huge. But let me know how you liked the video and tell me what you want to fight next.